drawing some of these prisms and pyramids. We'll also kind of work on drawing cones and cylinders also within this. So the first step is when we're working with prisms, you want to draw your two bases first. And then what you're going to do is from those bases, whether it's a rectangle or a triangle, you're going to actually go through and connect your corresponding vertices. So corresponding are the same points on each of those figures. So you'll notice that here in step one, I went ahead and drew out my rectangles. And then in step two, I'm connecting the corresponding vertices. So what does that mean? It means that I'm connecting the same points on each rectangle. So notice that those are corresponding. They're the same points. I'm just connecting those together. So those are corresponding. This one, top right corner corresponds with that. Bottom right corresponds with that. And then bottom left and bottom left corresponds with this. Now, take note that you'll notice in step three that they have taken any of those hidden lines and they've made them into dashes. You don't absolutely have to do that. That's lots of times how you will see it. I will tell you I'm very bad at that because sometimes I get confused as to which ones need to be dashed. The key thing is that I want you to try drawing those three-dimensional figures. And some of you might be very good at them because maybe it's something that you've done in art before. Okay, if we were to do a triangular, let's try a triangular prism. So triangular prism, you're going to draw two triangles and offset them. So I'm going to draw a triangle, which I'm going to actually use one from up here so that it's a nice, neat triangle. Okay, so you're just going to draw your triangle the best that you can. And I'm going to make a copy of this one so that I know that they're the same. So there's my other triangle. And I'm just going to offset them. Okay, so it doesn't matter how you offset them, just offset them. And now my next step, so that was step one, was drawing identical bases. So my bases I chose for a triangle for this time. The next step is I'm going to connect corresponding vertices. So my top of my triangles, I'll go ahead and connect those. And my front edge of my triangles, I'll connect those with straight lines. And then my back edge. And this one I'm going to do as a dashed line just so that it looks neater. And it's not very straight. You could use a straight edge to do that. So there's a triangular prism. So key thing is when you're naming these, remember the bases are what are going to name the type of prism or pyramid you're working with. So here my base was my triangles, my two identical shapes. Okay, so let's go ahead and try working with some pyramids here. So I'm going to move these off to the side. Okay, when we draw a pyramid, we actually have a point, correct? So when we draw a pyramid, whether it's triangular or rectangle, we're going to draw that base first. So we're going to draw our base and then we're going to put a point up above it. Then we're going to connect each of our vertices or our corners of our shape, of our base, to that point. And then we can go through, if we wish, we can go ahead and change any of our hidden lines into dashed, which I told you I'm not very good at that. So here, if I were to go off, we start off with our shape of our base, and then we just put a point, and then we're going to go ahead and connect these. And you can see all of the steps are done already for me. I'm just showing you how I would do this. Okay, so I've now looked like something similar to that. And then I could go through and make dashed on those inner parts of that triangle if I wish to make it look a little more realistic. Okay, so then let's go ahead and do a rectangular pyramid. So if I were to do a rectangular pyramid, I'm going to start out with a rectangle, which I'll go ahead and use a square. A square is a rectangle. Okay, so there's my square. And I'm going to put a point somewhere up above it. And I'm now going to connect each vertice to that point. So there's that one. And then I would connect this one and this one. So this one's kind of looks like we're looking at it almost from almost above that pyramid because of how high I put that point. But you can see it does. You can see my base. I'm not the best three-dimensional drawer, but I can do a very basic drawing. And that's what I'm asking you to do is just try it out. Some of you will do a wonderful job because you're very artistic. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and practice just drawing a triangular prism without the figures. So the key thing, start out with your triangles. And since it's a prism is where you're going to have 2 of each base. So I'm going to go ahead and draw this time. I'll draw a triangle that looks kind of like this. Okay. And I'm going to copy that. So now I've got 2 triangles that are the same. You're just going to go ahead and do yours the best that you can. It's the benefits of having a smart board. You can offset them however you would like. So I slightly offset them. Now I'm going to go ahead and connect my corresponding vertices with straight lines. Okay, so there's my triangular prism. Set that off to the side. Okay, so the next one asks us to draw a hexagonal pyramid. Hexagon. So a hexagon, H-E-X, the number 6 has an X. So we have a 6-sided figure. So draw the best that you can a hexagon. So hexagon, 6 sides, kind of looks like this. And if you ever have questions, you can look in the back of your book. It does, your hardcover book does have some samples of each of these figures. So there's a hexagon, and it's asking for a pyramid. So a pyramid has a point. So I'm just going to go ahead and put my point here, not very far away. And then I'm going to connect each of my vertices to that point. As straight a lines as I can. If I want it to look really good, I'd use a straight edge. Okay, so there's my hexagonal pyramid. So on that shape, I would have a base with 6 sides, which means I actually have 6 triangles coming up to meet that point. So if I were asked how many faces or surface area sides there were on there, there's actually 7 because you have your base and then your 6 triangles around the outside edge. Okay, so that's just working with some pure